Oh, yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Exchange, episode 28. Very, very fun stuff to talk about today. My name is Ted, and as always, I'm joined with my partner in crime.
Papo, welcome back, everybody.
Now, Papo, we got to come clean. Full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, technical difficulties arose earlier this week, and they prevented us from doing what we love to do in the capacity we love to do it, so we had to postpone it, and it's been fixed, and now we're moving on. Papo, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got Raw, December 8th, and the Slammy Awards.
All right. You're going to learn today.
That's gimmick infringement. So right off the bat, we got the pre-show. Papo, did you get a chance to have a look at the pre-show at all?
Not the pre-show, but I did catch the Raw right on time. I was pressed for time, and I just got in just in time to watch Raw. So whenever you're ready to get this ball rolling, go ahead, if you will, Ted, and go ahead and get down, if you will, break down that pre-show.
All right, so not a lot happened, but real quickly getting into the pre-show. Of course, it's hosted by Renee Young and the pre-show panel and all that good stuff that we usually see before the pay-per-views. We had a few Slammy Awards. The first is the Insult of the Year nominees. This is Chris Jericho insulting Stephanie McMahon, Nikki Bella telling her sister Brie that she should have died in the womb, Paul Heyman's poetic rap earlier this year about Cena going to get his ass kicked at SummerSlam, and The Rock coming back and insulting Rusev and Lana. And wouldn't you know, Papo, if you had to guess, who won this one?
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah, we don't have high production quality, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we will one day, but that's what we have for right now. Tag Team of the Year nominees: the Dust Brothers, Los Matadors, the Usos, Slater, Gator, Miz, and Mizdow. Papo, the winner.
Ooh, so crazy, the Usos.
And that's a fair one, right? We can give it to the Usos because the Usos have been shining consistently throughout the year. Then we have, in my opinion, Breakout Superstar of the Year. Nominees are Seth Rollins, Rusev, Dean Ambrose, Paige, and Roman Reigns. Who wins this one? This is Breakout Superstar of the Year.
The psychotic one, Dean Ambrose.
And apparently from some sort of fallout on SmackDown from Bray Wyatt. By the way, did you see what Bray Wyatt did to Dean Ambrose with the chair?
No, I didn't catch SmackDown.
They did a bit where they took the chair up to Ambrose's throat, and then Bray Wyatt it looked like he had his head in the chair, and then they slammed it up against the steps, like jamming the chair, into his throat. It's pretty brutal stuff. But of course, as you mentioned, Dean Ambrose does win. However, because of that attack, he's not able to accept the award on his behalf. So we move on to Best Hashtag of the Year nominees. You know what? I'm not even going to get into that. That's just stupid. So this Raw is the last Raw before the pay-per-view, which is now no longer Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Papo, I understand that we've gone over a name change.
Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
Oh my. So before we get any further, just the changing of the name of the pay-per-view, your thoughts on changing it from Tables, Ladders, and Chairs to Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs?
Dude, that is like major overkill.
Or is it Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, and Stairs?
Either way, it's still too much. It's complete overkill, dude.
It's really dumb, right?
What are you going to call it, TLCs?
So then let me ask you a follow-up question to that. Since you and I agree on that, do you think it's time we finally do away with the annual gimmick pay-per-views in the sense that there's a TLC pay-per-view coming up, so we have to have a TLC match. Are you favored in dropping those types of pay-per-views and just using a TLC or a Hell in a Cell or a ladder match whenever it's appropriate in storyline?
Yes. I mean, when it falls into the storyline, it makes the complete difference. I mean, we have those wrestlers that are come out during those special events, like such as Brock Lesnar. We now have Sting, Undertaker, and they fit to those, if you will, those gimmick pay-per-views.
Yeah, right. And you can actually to follow up with your point. I mean, look at Sting's activity at the end of Survivor Series. I mean, it was booked around a Survivor Series match, but it that one was also, they did the Survivor Series so well, in my opinion, that it fell right in line with an old Survivor Series from the late 80s. If you just look at it on its face and just at how they presented it, except with the overall, authority stip. But Sting coming out was perfect for that, and it's like imagine. I'm sure you remember. We all remember the infamous second Hell in a Cell match where Taker threw Foley off the top and then threw it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wrestling history right there.
Think fast, Papo. Was that at a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure it was. It was not.
It was King of the Ring.
Oh, Papo failed the trivia.
But do you see what?
I'm gonna do 10 push-ups right after the show.
But seriously though, if you think about it, imagine if it was King of the Ring and we didn't get that match because we have to do the King of the Ring and you have to bend the story to the stipulation. So there, I mean, I'm not faulting you for not knowing that. I had forgotten at one point too, but it just because the Cell just dominated everything about it, still to this day. But I mean, yeah, gimmicks should be saved for when they're applicable. So that being said, tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. We're also granted by an interesting guest host, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, Seth Green, guest host of Raw and the Slammies. Your thoughts?
Not bad. I mean, they picked a good host, Seth Green. Funny guy, co-creator of Robot Chicken, a voice on Family Guy, one of my favorite actors. Definitely hits in the 80s, and he loves to play with toys.
Yeah, and he was like in every 1990s teen romance movie for like a good 6 years. I mean, Can't Hardly Wait. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. At least if we're talking 90s. Anyway, though, so his appearance on Raw, let me ask you, because it came across to me as good in the sense that he wanted to be here. Like he maybe didn't know all the ins and outs of the current storylines, but he knows what it is and he's a fan. I mean, did this come across the same way to you as it did me?
Oh, yes. I mean, you could tell he really enjoyed himself out there being the host and just mingling with the wrestlers. I mean, you could tell he had a really good time.
Did you catch he was taking selfies of himself?
Yes, I did. That was awesome.
Which at first sounds stupid because you're like, oh, the guest host is taking selfies. But if you think about it from a fan perspective, imagine you get to host Raw, you get to host the Slammies, and you get to sit on a commentary. You wouldn't take, I mean, I don't take selfies. I don't take pictures at all, but I would at least have a picture of that.
Or just take pictures of everything that's going on around him.
Seriously.
For real. I'd be all over the damn place.
So he basically starts speaking, Seth Green that is, about his excitement to be back as guest host. And he's erupted by Miz and Mizdow. Miz said that Seth must be excited to put Miz in one of his movies, and Seth is like, Seth sees an A-lister, but not the Miz. He sees Damien Sandow, and then Miz announces the word named after him, and they do a bit, Papo, I don't know if you caught this, where Sandow, when Miz isn't looking, he's like, call me. Seth Green, did you catch that?
Yes, I did. That was hilarious. Then you see Miz go, boo, and then Miz down. Yeah! Miz, boo! Miz down. It's hilarious.
So we have the most awesome moment of the year nominees, which are Daniel Bryan, which with Occupy Raw. Papa, that was the bring 40 people into the ring thing, right?
Yes, it was.
We have the $1 billion jailbird, Stephanie McMahon, going off to jail. We have the Goodbye Authority with Sting, basically Sting ousting the Authority, and the Hogan, Austin, and Rock at WrestleMania 30. Did I not put down the vote for this one?
I don't see it in your notes, dude.
Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say it was Hogan, Rock, and Austin at WrestleMania 30 because who would choose anything else? That was just fucking awesome. And did you notice that it seemed like neither one of them knew that the next one was coming out? Like Hogan knew he was going to be there, but then it seemed like Austin knew he was going to cut off Hogan, but had no idea Rock was going to come out, just from their facial expressions. Did you get that at all?
Yes, I did. And that would have been my vote, too. But unfortunately, the winner of that Slammy was the Authority with Sting.
That was the winner?
That was the winner.
Poppycock. That's all I have to say about that.
Poppycock!
We're treated to the first actual, if I'm not mistaken, match of the night, which, notes, Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins, who's, of course, accompanied by Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. This was a good match, but there really wasn't much to talk about. I mean, this was pretty quick. They didn't give these gentlemen more than, 5 minutes?
Approximately. I mean, it was under 5 minutes, definitely. I mean, the distraction from J&J Authority and then the curb stomp on Dolph Ziggler, and that was it.
I thought from the little time that they had that they really had some fun. They really had a killer couple of minutes. Looking back in hindsight, would you have rather had this been the main event as opposed to Cena versus Big Show?
Yes, please. I mean, honestly, when these two guys get together, I mean, they're both young. They both could put on a clinic, and these guys know how to put on a show. I mean, it's dynamic. I mean, we have all kinds of moves that they're trying to do. They're trying to outdo each other. That's what I see when I see these two get in a ring against each other, whether it be a tag team, six-man, or singles competition. Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, I mean, I would say right now, this is the future of WWE.
The undisputed future, stealing the show. Like what I did. And you're right, it was the Authority, the Goodbye Authority bit that won the award because Seth Rollins gets upset that it wasn't him, and then he accepts the award on behalf of Sting because he doesn't deserve it, and I do. Next we have a New Day versus Stardust and Goldust. It's I don't have much here in my notes. Couldn't have been that eventful.
Well, it really wasn't. I mean, these guys have yet to show me that it factor. But their final move is Big E's finisher, along with Coffee pushing down from the top rope. So I mean, it's not really. It's put it this way, it's not the Deadly Death Drop.
It's not clicking like the whole group, right? I mean, you'll want to see it work, but it's just not there.
Xavier Woods is just a third wheel, dude. For real.
So let me throw this. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I mean, if it was just Coffee and Big E, I'd be a little bit more interested.
So then, as an interesting note, do you think that these guys? Because this is my opinion. I'm just curious if you would share my thoughts, and if you do out there in YouTube land, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. But do you think that this faction would be better served turning heel and soon?
It would actually benefit them if they turned heel. I mean, because right now they just want to get the crowd behind them. New Day!
And that clap, 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 that's not going to get over. That clap.
Really?
No way. People aren't going to remember that shit.
I'm going to yell out, New Gay!
All right, then. So moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Laurinaitis, and I am the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations. And I believe in people power. How excited were you to see John Laurinaitis come back?
I didn't like him before. I don't like him now.
Fun fact, did you know he is the brother of Animal from the Road Warriors Legion of Doom?
Yes, I did.
That's all the fun facts I have. I don't have any more.
I mean, Laurinaitis wrestling roots go deep, so, I mean, but I still don't like him, so keep the ball rolling.
All right, so Laurinaitis addresses the elephant in the room as to whether or not he will return as GM to restore people power, and then he never actually addresses it. Like, he never says, I am or I'm not. It just ends up being this whole weird thing. So, surprise return of the year. Nominees: Hulk Hogan, Batista, The Rock, and Ultimate Warrior. Personally, because I want to spend a few moments on this question, you personally, who's surprise return of the year out of that group?
Well, me, for that definition, would be for surprise return of the year, I would define it as in-ring performer. Not just on the microphone, not just doing spots, but to come back into the ring and perform. So I would run with Batista.
Okay. But did you see a snowball's chance in hell for Batista for this category?
Hell no.
They lumped the Ultimate Warrior in?
No. Once they put Hulk Hogan in, you know Batista wasn't going to win.
Fair enough. Hey, this is going to be a theme throughout. Quick question. It just occurred to me because this is going to come up later. But your thoughts, do you think any of these Slammies are fixed?
I think they're all fixed, dude.
Okay, good. Because I'm not sure if all of them are fixed, but I'm damn sure there's like 2 or 3 that are absolutely fixed.
Dude, they're all fixed, man. There's no arguing about that. They just want us to go to the network that we pay $9.99 a month for.
Unless for those cheap motherfuckers that got it for free for November. I'm still waiting on my free month. I paid for November. The fuck is up with that?
Ooh.
Got some WWE Network heat over here. But interestingly enough, though, we were treated to Seth Rollins bumping in to Paul Heyman backstage. On its face, you're watching the television. You see this before words are exchanged. How excited are you to see what's about to go down?
Dude, anything when it comes to Heyman, you want to listen to. I'm waiting for some trash talking, maybe something that's going to pop for either any of his clients, if you will.
If you will.
So I was excited. Good.
So since you and I are both on the same page, because I saw it, I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? You know, I'm like all marking out and shit, just because I haven't seen Heyman on TV in a while. And Heyman comments on Rollins' match against Cena at the TLC, and he tells Rollins that if he wants to be the future, he better leave John Cena in the past. Cool, but I don't have anything else to add there. I think Heyman worded it perfectly. How do you feel?
Absolutely perfect. I mean, he that's all he could say, and that's all he needed to say, and then he went on his way.
Well, speaking about
rhymed.
It did. You're a poet, you just don't know it. So speaking of the future, we had Charlotte Flair as the NXT Women's champion versus Natalya with Tyson. Before we get into the actual match, because it unfortunately wasn't that long, Papa, do you see an interesting distinction between the NXT Women's Championship and the WWE Divas title?
Well, I find that these girls in NXT can go, and then we have in Raw some of the flaky divas that we just want to go ahead and have a cigarette when they come on. But watching this match here with Charlotte, this girl is badass. This girl is badass. I see her becoming Divas Champion maybe in the near future, maybe sooner than we think, because this girl can go. This girl can definitely go. But during this match here, I see that I was on the network, and she came out stating that she really didn't want to live in her father's shadow, or not those specific words, but
right.
She attempted the figure four leg lock.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if that isn't the writers coming up with that BS, because the way that she's presented on NXT, and this is good because I do want to talk about the difference in presentation. The way she's presented in NXT is that, yes, she's the Flair of Rick daughter. Of course she is, because her name is Charlotte, because Charlotte, North Carolina, Ric Flair, that's a thing. Woo! Just like chops and figure fours are and strutting around the ring and whatnot. She's not presented that way. It's more of like she had a match and her father was there, and like Flair will randomly show up, but it's not. It's very much presented not that way. That like she's genetically superior. At least this is how she's presented on NXT, because she's from greatness. She's the spawn of the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. You know. So, but when they present her on Raw, I think that's the writers doing, because that's doesn't fit with the character, because she does do the woo. She does the break around the ring where she hits the ropes and she stops short, and she does everything but the strut. But in the presentation between the divas and the women's wrestlers in NXT, being that she's the champion, does it hurt Charlotte to lose to Natty, who's not holding a title on a main roster show?
Yes, it does. I mean, they should at least give her that push. Or, I mean, stating that she's just in NXT, which is the minor leagues of professional wrestling or sports entertainment, if you will.
If you will.
So it may save face for the regular WWE divas, stating that this is the big leagues. Refine your skills in NXT. Once you're refined, then come and beat my ass.
I'm okay with that position, but I'm okay with that understanding. That, like, yes, she's an NXT champion, but there's a world of difference between on NXT and being on the main roster. I'm totally fine with that explanation. But if that's the case that they're going with it, shouldn't you think it would have been represented better had they kind of basically come out and stated that? Yes, she put in a valiant effort against Natalya, but, you know, although she's NXT Women's Champion, Natty's main roster, she's got a lot to learn. They could chalk it up to experience. Do you think if they presented it that way as opposed to just ignoring it, it would have been a better package visually?
Visually, yes. They should have put out that disclaimer first. But they didn't even support it even afterwards. So
yeah, because they don't do any of that.
And that only hurts Charlotte. So
it does. So two other things I wanted to mention. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't have seen that here, but so that was actually NXT. But Charlotte goes for the figure four, Natalya covers and wins with a small package. Did you like how Tyson Kidd celebrated as if he won the match?
Yeah, actually, I'm getting tired of Tyson Kidd.
Really?
I am getting tired of him. Not only does he's playing the Macho Man role, hiding behind Natty during his matches, and then him taking credit for Natty's matches. I've been playing him on WWE 2K15, and he's just a thorn in my side, and I just really, really dislike him right now.
I think what Tyson's doing here is some of the best stuff he's done, because for the first time, he's actually kind of important. Like, not because he's in a tag team. He's just kind of important. And I think him going to NXT and kind of refining this meta douche character is really worked well for him. So I'm loving it. I love the get the heat, I throw the woman in front of you. I love that. That's A1 in my book. He can still for Macho Man because Macho Man's dead. And we have to be real about that. It's not like he's stealing from another guy in the company or another guy that competes on a major basis in North America. Fact of the matter is that Macho's dead, and Punk is doing the Macho Man elbow, and that's the worst I'm a huge CM Punk fan, but that is the worst goddamn Macho Man elbow I have ever seen.
Often duplicated, dude, but never replicated.
Hey man, what about Black Machismo, Jay Lethal? I know we're going on a little bit of a tiff here, but Black Machismo.
Black Machismo was pretty good, but again, nobody can touch that. The dynamic of that elbow drop was by far unique as hell.
So can we leave it at Macho Man's the fucking man, and hell yeah, he should go into the Hall of Fame like yesterday.
Yesterday? I'm talking about like last year, dude.
I'm talking about 10 years ago. Fuck it.
For real.
So then we're just going to keep this ball rolling. Santino Marella comes out to the stage to present the next Slammy Award, the OMG Shocking Moment of the Year. Nominees are Seth Rollins turns on the Shield, Nikki Bella turning her sister Brie, Bray Wyatt brainwashing the children against Cena, and Brock Lesnar breaking the streak. Again, we talk about the fixed voting. I'm saying this one is fixed strictly not because they only picked the votes they wanted, but just in how they positioned the options. Brock Lesnar breaking the streak, that's the one that won, and that's the one that should have won, right?
Right. That one was the OMG moment of the year, dude. I mean, I'm still upset about it. I'm still standing beside myself.
It's rough, man. It's rough. So then, if we keep this ball rolling, if you will.
If you will.
We got a Bray Wyatt in-ring promo about Sister Abigail. And he says that was her chair. Now, what he's referring to is that apparently on SmackDown, Dean Ambrose smashed up the rocking chair. Now, Papa, what's interesting to note here, and I'm not sure if our audience or you are aware of this, but recently on Steve Austin's podcast, he interviewed Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt pulled back the curtain a little bit on the idea of Sister Abigail. And he revealed that she's not so much as a person as she is like Bray Wyatt's god. Like that's his entity, kind of like how Thanos worships death, or Thanos, whatever you want to call it, in the Marvel universe. So it's his
correction. Thanos married death.
Well, yes, and that's true. He did marry death. See, we're getting comic book shit already. But he worships death on the same level. Like, yeah, he married her, but like he puts her so far above everything else that he's willing to destroy the entire cosmos just to please her. Is that a fair statement?
Fair statement.
Can we get back to fucking wrestling, please?
Let's do it.
All right. It was my fault.
Where'd you go?
I'm sorry. I was lashing
out. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm here too.
Hey, can you can see me? Wait, that's not how it goes. So, I'm going to replay of Wyatt using a chair to damage Ambrose's throat, and which led him to be stretchered out of the arena. And he says, "I am a monster. I am fear incarnate. I despise each and every last one of you," pointing to the crowd. "You are merely moths drawn in by my flame. If you get too close, I will burn you. And then at TLC, all of you will bear witness to my fire." And then he goes on to do the old schmickety-schmockety tables, ladders, and chairs on my bit. Before we address what immediately follows, is it nice to see Bray Wyatt turning on the fans and at least trying to get some heat? I mean, this is refreshing, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, he's a heel. He has to play the heel role. So he's going to turn on the audience, but I'm telling you, he's got too much of a following for it. It's actually going to hurt his heel character even more.
It's the entrance. If Bray Wyatt really wants the heat, and I mean really wants the heat, he's got to stop doing what Bray Wyatt does that gets over. when Cactus Jack was doing the anti-hardcore stuff, the whole concept was, you want hardcore? Nah, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm corporate Cactus. And I think that they could do the same thing with Bray Wyatt. Whether it's a smart move or not, I don't know. But I do think that at least this is a good step in the right direction. Papa, we have an ambulance that backs up into the arena with smoke billowing out the back. Is this the reappearance of Rob Van Dam?
Unfortunately, no.
Do you think Rob Van Dam was in that ambulance at any point?
Never.
Oh, okay. All right, so the ambulance backs up and blasts the siren, and then who the fuck pops out of the ambulance? Papo, take it away.
We have the Psycho 1, Dean Ambrose. Sticks out his tongue and gives the crowd what they want, and immediately heads over to the ring where Wyatt's sitting there with the microphone just watching him. I wanted to bring this up because I've noticed that when Wyatt looks at you, he puts his brow down and he looks, that look that he gives his opponent, it's like not looking at him, but looking right into their soul. And that is like perfect heel characteristics.
That's pure man drama right there. Like, he's got it. He knows what to do and how to do it, and it gets to you. It comes right off the goddamn TV. So basically, Bray escapes Ambrose's attempt to basically beat the goddamn shit out of him, and he says, "Take a look at the ambulance, Wyatt, because the only thing you're going to leave TLC in on Sunday is in the back of one of those, and I become the monster. I'm going to eat you alive." This is a good way to hype up their feud, yes?
Yes, it is, man. This lunatic, Dean Ambrose, he's just... let me tell you, he gets the crowd going. He just out there, and his moveset is just awesome. And then with these two feuding, leading into TLC, awesome. So
then, if we keep this ball rolling, if you don't mind, my friend, Seth Green and Jerry Lawler present the next award. It's Diva of the Year nominees: Brie Bella, Paige, AJ Lee, Nikki Bella. If you had to choose, not what was picked, but if you personally, who would be your pick for Diva of the Year nominee from the selection?
Well, to me, I had it narrowed down to two, and that was Paige and AJ Lee. But I'm gonna go with AJ Lee.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's a hard sell between the two of them, because that's what it would come down to in my mind. But I liked that when she accepted the award, she kind of name dropped some of the NXT divas, and she kind of put them over that hopefully they'll be viewed in that spot. This was nice, right?
That was cool.
So then we got a Renee Young interview backstage with John Cena about his match with Big Show. I don't give a damn about this interview. Do you want to hear about it?
Sure, I don't.
Excellent. So then we're treated to Eric Rowan versus the Intercontinental Champion Luke Harper. Now, one of the interesting things, I mentioned Steve Austin's podcast a little while ago. The reason why I did is that when Wyatt was talking about Sister Abigail being his god, one of the other things that he mentioned is that, A, Sister Abigail was not the hologram at Hell in a Cell. That wasn't her. And that, B, the Wyatt family hasn't necessarily broken up. They're just doing their own thing. So it's not like the Wyatt family is over, and that Harper and Rowan have some kind of like beef that they're going to work out, but then sometime it's going to reunite. And then we're treated to Harper coming to the ring dragging a ladder because it was announced that he'll face Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match for the IC title at the pay-per-view. And then, this was schmozz, right? This was just dirty schmozziness.
It was filler, dude. It was straight filler. They needed a quick match. They put them together, let them go. It's like making a sandwich for lunch when you want a meal.
I make my wife make all my sandwiches.
Cool. But
No.
think about this.
Yeah, no, I got you.
For dinner, you want a meal, but then having a sandwich just doesn't cut it sometimes.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, and it wasn't much, right? I mean, Harper hits Rowan with a ladder. Rowan wins by DQ. After the DQ, the two continue to fight outside the ring using the steel steps. And then Rowan brings the steps into the ring, hits Harper with the chairs, and that's really that.
So keeping this ball rolling.
We got Naomi backstage with the Usos. Jimmy Uso tells her that winning the Slammy is the second best thing that's ever happened to him. And as a good husband, he says the first best thing that ever happened to him was marrying Naomi. Very smart. Naomi says she heard from Mrs. Agent, and there's a little bit of a rift between the two because she has a screen test later this week and wants to go to Hollywood to advance her career. But Jimmy Uso says that he doesn't trust Miz and kind of tries to put the kibosh on that. So we have this kind of interesting feud that's not quite a feud, but could be Total Divas storyline, I don't know. But, I mean, this is kind of interesting, right?
Bringing reality into the mix of the storylines, where she wants to advance her career, and then Miz playing the role of devil's advocate. I see him trying to take advantage of the whole situation.
And take advantage of her, right?
Booty!
So we're treated to the next award presenter, which is Adam Rose, and he's with the Bunny and the entire Exotic Express to present the next award, the LOL Moment of the Year. Papo, can they think of any better fucking names for these things?
I would say it's a midlife crisis, or some dude going through some midlife crisis trying to figure out some corny names that may appease the multimedia audience that they have.
It's those damn millennials. If you listen to Vince, it's those damn millennials.
The millennials. So they did their best. They did their best.
So the nominees are Mr. T's acceptance speech, where he wouldn't shut up about how much he loves his mama. The WLC match earlier this year. Damian Sandow's stunt double Actics. And Stephanie McMahon thrown into a pool of... Is that kayfabe poop? I don't know what that pool is supposed to be. What was that pool?
I had no idea, but it looked like some sort of sewage.
Dookie.
Doo-doo.
Adam and Rose end up kind of getting into a little tiff over who's going to present the winner. And the winner, of course, is my man, the wizard, Damien Mizdow. Miz and Mizdow both come out to accept the award. Mizdow goes to accept the award, but is cut off by Miz to a loud arena full of boos. And the arena starts chanting, "We want Mizdow" chants. We want Mizdow. And then the Miz turns it on the people, and he says, "I know. You want Miz now." Papo, how awesome was that? No pun intended.
I caught you there. But that was awesome. I mean, this whole bit was hilarious. But honestly, is it me or is Mizdow, is he getting kind of a attitude?
Yeah, I think they're doing the slow burn thing. I think that's going to be they're slowly starting to give Mizdow a little bit more and more and more of his own. But I think the feud would work better if Miz turns on Mizdow, because Mizdow is just trying to be the good stunt double. But we're getting to see more and more personality, and I think all signs point to awesome, pun intended that time. Did you like how Mizdow basically gave credit to someone else, someone who without their help they wouldn't have won the tag title, someone who doesn't usually get what they rightly deserve, someone who's truly been there since day one, the Moneymaker, Did you enjoy that as it was the tease that it could have been Mizdow, but no, he's so vain, he's referring to his own good-looking features.
For real, dude. I mean, honestly, again, it was a funny bit, but I see a slow burn happening. And then Mizdow, I mean, he's going with it, so, I mean, what else can we do? I'd be pissed off. Like, that's my Slammy.
True enough, but Mizdow being the good, loyal servant, he goes along with it. Who's better at stealing Slammies? Miz stealing this one from Mizdow, or Owen Hart stealing the Slammy from whoever he was going to present in, what was it, 97, where he was like, "Woo, I'm a winner!" And he stole the Slammy, and he's like a 2-time Slammy. Because I was just watching that clip of that, and that was just the best. Slammy Award-winning Owen Hart.
Yeah, I mean that was an awesome bit, but this one here, I mean, it had that it factor where Mizdow won the award, and then Miz is accepting it for his good looks. Come on, man. And then Mizdow still mimicking the Miz. I mean,
so
that was
go for
so.
it. He takes it shit seriously. He's a character actor. We're then shown a bunch of the WWE.com Slammy Awards. So I'm just going to briefly run through these. Faction of the Year, Shield. Rivalry of the Year was Daniel Bryan versus The Authority. Raw Guest Star of the Year was Hugh Jackman. And the best Twitter handle was Dolph Ziggler, @HeelZiggler. Best Couple of the Year, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Do you want to talk about these, or can we keep this ball rolling? Because I ain't got shit to say about these.
You got shit to say?
No, excuse me, my English teacher would kill me, but I ain't got shit to say.
All right, well, let's keep this ball rolling, dude.
All right,
good to go.
So we have the U.S. champion Rusev, Machka, with Lana. Lana says the real LOL moment of the year is the American economy, or the President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama, or your, quote, real Americans. And then, of course, like a Pavlovian response, Jack Swagger comes out, cuts a promo, and he says, what goes around comes around. You broke Zeb's leg. I'm going to snap your ankle. He rushes Rusev. The two kind of spar a little bit on the outside, and Swagger puts Rusev in the ankle lock. Rusev taps, but it doesn't fucking matter because they're not having a match. And then WWE officials kind of break it up. This is the reignition of an old feud. Not getting into what happened at the pay-per-view. Did this entertain you at all?
No. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. It didn't entertain me simply because it was we're returning to someone Rusev has already beat. It could have been anyone else in this position. If we wanted to do it again, I'd be okay with it. But if we had nobody but Swagger for the immediate, how about just give Rusev the fucking night off? We don't need to reignite this feud then. We know no way in hell Jack Swagger's going to win because he's already led 318 million Americans down at least 2 or 3 times. So then, that being said, co-creator of Robot Chicken and star of Family Guy, Seth Green joins commentary for the 6-man tag match. It's the Usos and Ryback versus Kane and Miz and Mizdow. Before we get into the actual match, though, Seth Green on commentary. What'd you think?
Not bad, but he needs to put more bass in his voice.
Well, he's a little man. He's a little guy. I mean, I'm 5'10", and he's because he was standing next to Jerry Lawler, and Jerry Lawler's 5'10", so he's got to be 4'5".
5 foot negative.
But I mean, his overall placement on the commentary, this could have been worse. This could have been Larry the Cable Guy, but this was actually a lot better. It seemed like he was there to enjoy himself. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You definitely could tell he was enjoying himself, had a great time. Again, he needed to put a little bit more bass in his voice during commentary, but other than that, good to go. I mean, he does Chris on Family Guy, which has more. He gives more bass than what he has. So it'd be cool if he did the whole commentary in Chris.
Speaking of bass, should he be all about that bass? Huh?
Not about that treble.
But we were okay with it, right?
We were good.
All right, so we're just going to quickly run through this match because I didn't think this was anything really great. Kane and Ryback basically start things off. We get some "We Want Miz Down" chants. One of the Usos gets Miz in a vertical suplex. Miz kind of props himself in a handstand upside down, and he continues to sell as Miz. And then after the suplex, he comes in, takes a front flip bump at the same time. It's standing applause by the crowd. The Usos throws Miz over the top rope, so Mizdow, of course, throws himself over the top rope. Ryback gets the hot tag. He unloads on Miz. There's tag team shenanigans. Both Usos enter the ring. Kane tries a double choke slam. It gets reversed. Double super kick to Kane by the Usos. Kane goes out. The Usos do a suicide dive over the top rope to Kane. Ryback hits Miz with the medial clothesline and shell shock. Ryback and Usos win. And then, did you like the bit? Well, first off, were you okay with this match? Because I was like, meh.
Yeah, it missed that it factor. So, I mean, Mizdow was entertaining, but other than that, I mean, no.
And he wasn't even really in the match at all, was he? I don't remember
really.
Mizdow being tagged in.
No, not at all.
All right. So at the end of the match, Seth Green comes into the ring and tries to raise Ryback's hand in victory. And I guess the idea was that he's far too weak to even move Ryback's hand. And then, funny enough, the Usos lift Seth Green onto their shoulders as they celebrate the win. Cool stuff, right?
It was cool. I like the ending.
So the next story is presented by Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as the Match of the Year nominees. Now, this is what I really wanted to talk about as far as the matches. So first thing we're going to do, Match of the Year, what I want to do is I just want to address the nominees and then kind of check the temperature and see where everybody's at, specifically you and I. Match of the Year nominees. The triple threat main event match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship as Daniel Bryan took on Orton as well as Batista. The Last Man Standing match for John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. The six-man tag Evolution versus Shield match at Extreme Rules. And the Survivor Series match Team Cena versus Team Authority. Spoiler alert, Team Cena versus Team Authority won. Papa, were you okay with these possibilities of the choice of what matches got selected for this category?
I was disappointed. I mean, there's a few matches out there which I thought was better. I mean, but just with these nominees here, I mean, the Authority versus Cena, I mean, that had the wow factor, especially with Sting coming in, so I can understand that. But if I had to choose one of these nominees here, it would have been the triple threat match with Bryan, Orton, and Batista. Because let me tell you, Bryan, I mean, the intensity in which this man wrestled was inspiring.
So then what I want to do then is to kind of throw a couple of other options, because this is another one that I think was just kind of BS in the fact that the options were limited. So, Papa, what I want to do is I want to give you a few additional options, and I want to know what you think. No Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble. That match should be on here. Can we agree on that?
It should have been nominated.
Okay, good. No Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30. As good as the main event was, I think this match was the better of the two. Should that have been on there?
Yes, it should have been. That should have been nominated also.
Okay. What about Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins Lumberjack match?
It was a good match, but I wouldn't say that it would have been Match of the Year.
Okay. Well, we're not fading fast. I still got a couple more. Okay. I'm gonna really in here. What about no Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell?
Definitely one of the matches that should have been nominated.
Okay, good. I'm on the pulse of the peoples. Here's my last one. Oh, excuse me, two. No John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
That should have been nominated also.
Just not because they had a great match, and I just want to know if you're with me on this, just because that we were treated to something that we had never seen before. We've never seen a world champion get butt fucked. Like, I mean, there's no other word for it. He just got raped. He bent over to pick up the soap, and the beast incarnate took over with his own bone. But as all of those options are good, hey, he's the one in those two butt cheeks and one. I don't know. So here's one that's a sleeper, and I'm out of all the ones that I've listed, this is the one that I just cannot fucking fathom why this didn't make the list. Shield versus the Wyatts at Elimination Chamber. Before they even locked up, the crowd was losing their goddamn mind. I mean, that should have at least made the list, yeah?
Definitely should be one of that's been nominated.
All right, good. So we can agree that our list is better, yeah?
Yes, definitely hands down, our list is better.
Awesome. Vince, Triple H, call me. Really? I could just do it from my couch. AJ Lee versus Summer Rae. Summer Rae, interestingly enough, dominates AJ Lee early on. We get some CM Punk chants. AJ Lee wins with the Black Widow in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Papo, should we just keep rolling? Because fuck this match.
Go ahead. Just keep this ball rolling, dude.
Speaking of RVD 420, he shows up to present the next award, and that was me linking the joke about him being in the ambulance because he smokes weed. Fuck it. RVD, Extreme Moment of the Year nominees. Brock Lesnar butt-fucking the champ, John Cena, to hell at SummerSlam. Daniel Bryan being tombstoned by Kane once onto the floor, once onto the steps, and then once on the commentary table. Chris Jericho doing a cage dive onto Bray Wyatt from the top of the cage, at least 20-some-odd feet up. And Dean Ambrose curb stomp through the cement cinder blocks. Winner was Y2J cage dive. Would that have been your pick?
Yeah. The cage dive, Y2J doing the cage dive onto Bray Wyatt, that was awesome. That was my extreme moment of the year.
So then as a follow-up, we have Fandango, or the new and improved Fandangos, excuse me, and he accepts the award because he says, quote, I defeated Jericho on my debut at WrestleMania, and then he says, you will never, ever forget the name of Gold Dust. No, wait, I'm sorry, Fandango. When I was watching this, my brain took me back to 1996, where Goldust was doing and you will never forget the name of Gold. Did that pop into your head, or am I just a crazy person?
You're just a crazy person.
Fair enough. We got a Mick Foley dressed up as Santa and with his smoking daughter, Noelle. He plugs the WWE Network. He mentions there's a joke about gimmick infringement. A replica Slammy, the Macho Man collector set, and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship replica belt. And then we move on to an interview backstage with Renee Young interviewing Big Show. Nobody gives a fuck. We can keep it moving. More WWE.com Slammy Award winners announced, so I'll just mention these briefly. Double Cross of the Year. Seth Rollins portrays the Shield. That was okay, yeah?
It was okay.
Animal of the Year. The Bunny. That's a fixed question. He's the only fucking animal if we're not counting Batista, right?
Right.
See what I did there? Because he's the animal. Best Actor. The Rock. This also could have been Batista because Guardians of the Galaxy was fucking incredible. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god! Stop this video right now. Well, don't really stop this video right now, but go to Red. Well, it's not on Redbox yet, but go fucking find a way to watch that movie. It's amazing. You know what? I'm not even going to get into the rest of that. That's just nonsense. We're told that next week Y2J returns to Monday Night Raw in Detroit, and Booker T presents the next award, which is the Superstar of the Year award. Now, this is the one that I really wanted to talk about. So let's go over the nominees quickly. We have Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, John Cena, and Seth Rollins. Now, ironically, they didn't rig the poll for John Cena to win. I thought for sure that was going to happen. But the winner was your boy Roman Reigns. Papo, your thoughts? Roman Reigns being Superstar of the Year?
He well deserved. I mean, anytime he gets in the ring, he always puts on an excellent show. And right now, all three of us have a bromance. You included, Tedski.
Who's the third person? I'm confused.
I just said you.
So who's the second person? Who's on first?
Who?
Who's on second? I'm so confused. I've been drinking, okay? This is the thing that happens on this show. Bad language, alcohol. So, but you were okay with the winner? You were okay with Roman Reigns winning? I mean, you feel that he's the superstar of the year, in your opinion, gun to your head if you had to choose?
Breakout Superstar of the Year award, Roman Reigns. Believe that.
We're just going to have to agree to disagree. I'm going to say it's Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is the man. He delivers all day, day. Roman Reigns, nothing against him, but he hasn't been able to deliver on that level. So, gun to my head, I would choose Seth Rollins. But that's neither here nor there, because we have the snorest of Snorefest to talk about. The main event, John Cena versus Big Show. Before we even talk about this match, number one, Papo, if you could show for me your level of excitement from a 0 to a 10 for this match, if you could show me where you were at when this was announced as the main event.
Snore, 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 snore. Main event? Snore, snore.
Snorlax. Okay, so I have actually a couple of things here to kind of talk about. So just a couple of quick things. Now, I understand that Cena and Show have some unfinished business, but in my opinion, this is definitely not worthy of the main event. As we mentioned earlier, this spot should have been Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. This should not have been Cena versus Show. And we've seen this over and over again. And the argument against guys like Rollins, guys like Ziggler, guys that aren't in the main event, there's an argument against them because they don't have the experience. It's very similar to watching your favorite football team and American football and seeing the quarterback injured and then they put in the replacement quarterback, but because the replacement quarterback never gets the experience to play, they never have the ability to improve, so it always has a negative impact. So I feel that the kind of the same way is here. If you want to build stars, the trick is not putting John Cena in the main event. It's just not. He can't be the main event every fucking night. Not every night. Okay, you got to switch it up. Now, it is impressive, and I don't want to kind of undersell the feat of athletic strength that we saw. Cena getting Big Show up on his shoulders for the attitude adjustment. Papo, how many times have you seen Big Show Cena hit Big Show with the FU or the AA?
Too many times now. I'm over it.
Can you remember a specific number, or is this too many times to count?
You know what? A specific number that I remember off the top of my head, 3 times. And then 2 out of those 3 in regular matches.
Can I tell you the most impressive one out of the 3 that I think you're thinking of?
What that is?
And I'm tempted to say it was WrestleMania 22, where he did it with Big Show and Edge at the same time. Like he had Big Show on his shoulders, then he had Edge on top of Big Show, and then he did the first guy, which launched Edge off, and then he did the second guy, which was Big Show.
Dude, I'm drawing a blank, dude.
It's because you've seen this, and goes to my point. It's because we've seen John Cena do this so many times. It's not crazy anymore. Do you remember WrestleMania 28? One of the matches was early on in the card was Ryback versus Mark Henry. Now, I predicted Mark Henry would lose that match, and this was before we were doing the show. And but nobody remembers that Ryback lost that match. They only remember, as I predicted, that Ryback would give him the shell shock, which he did. He failed once during the match, and I think that cost him. But then he did it to him afterwards. So incredible feats of strength can be awesome, but like it can be overplayed because you've never seen anybody get Henry up there like that, with the exception of Cena. But I would say it's not because it's a different move. So this match was terrible. Can we say that Big Show versus John Cena was just terrible?
Terrible.
It was bad. There's a lot of spots in here. I'm not going to get into it. The only thing worth mentioning is that the match broke down into fucking chaos afterwards. And this guy comes out, and that guy comes out. This guy's a chair, and that guy blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of par for the course for Raw. And then the show goes off the air, leaving Jamie Noble, Joey Mercury, Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane and Luke Harper standing victorious. This was kind of a throwaway week of Raw. I mean, like, this was not as good as they usually are, yeah?
Right.
All right. So I guess because that was the main event. Like, there ain't shit to talk about afterwards. Before we go, is there anything that you wanted to mention before we let these people off the hook, Papo?
Well, just stay tuned. Later on this week, we will go ahead and bring you the TLC tables, ladders, and chairs. Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
And stairs. Oh my!
Along with our Raw review. So stay tuned to that. And keep posting your comments. We appreciate you guys watching. Anything else you want to add to that, Ted?
The only thing I want to say is I want to thank you very much for watching. Keep your eye out on this channel. We're going to be uploading some videos soon, dealing with some more content. I'm very excited. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wrestling Exchange. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, have them tell 2 friends, and they can go fly planes or some shit, and they can tell other friends. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Peace. This is me throwing to you.
Peace.